looks like years of anti-Semitic rants are finally catching up with Kanye West. He was dropped by his talent agency after running a Super Bowl ad that ran in some markets that tricked viewers into going to a website that sold Nazi merchandise. A former Jewish employee also filed a lawsuit against him, but he's been pulling these vile comments, saying these bad things for years. Why wasn't there more outrage over him?
There should be, and I'm glad we're talking about on this show, because I feel like for some reason Kanye's been given a pass, and I know there's a perception that he may have some mental health issues, but there are tens of millions of people around this country who have mental health issues and are not saying bigoted, racist, anti-Semitic things. I think it's a cop-out. I think he needs to be called out, especially on the heels of the worst attack on Jews since the Holocaust on October 7th. There's a rise globally in anti-Semitism, and this man, get this, he has more social media followers than there are Jews in the world.
Take accountability. I was dealing with some various issues, dealing with bipolar also. So it would take the ideas I had and have them taken to an extreme where I would forget about the protection of the people around me and myself.
Have you ever watched someone burn their entire life down in public and then show up later like nothing happened, asking for forgiveness? Because that's exactly what's happening with Kanye West right now. 1 minute he was praising Hitler, fueling hate, and inspiring real-life extremists, and now suddenly he's on an apology tour, talking about mental health, talking about regret, talking about being misunderstood.
The rapper formerly known as Kanye is apologizing today for, in his words, reckless behavior. He took out this full-page ad in the Wall Street Journal, Ye did, titled, "To Those I've Hurt," going on to say he is not a Nazi or an anti-Semite and that he loves Jewish people. You probably remember over the last couple of years, Ye said a lot of anti-Semitic things, a lot of racist things. At one point, he sold T-shirts with swastikas on them. He had previously apologized for his anti-Semitism, then took that apology back before this apology now. And in this ad, he says his behavior stems from an undiagnosed brain injury caused by a car crash he was in 25 years ago. We should note the timing of this here, just a few days before his 12th album is set to drop. Chloe Malas is covering this one for us. I think some of the reaction has been interesting to this too, including from the Anti-Defamation League and from others as well.
You know, Hallie, it's complicated. I have covered Kanye West for 17 years, and when I was at CNN, I did, a really in-depth report at the time that Kanye had planned to name an album of his Hitler. I think that a lot of people are struggling with this public open letter, this apology coming from Kanye West, because like you pointed out, Hallie, he has apologized in the past. And in this, he writes, to those I've hurt, he says, bipolar disorder comes with its own defensive system, denial. When you're manic, you don't think you're sick. Everyone else is overreacting. But I will say that Kanye West, now Ye, he has said multiple times very publicly that he does not suffer from bipolar disorder. He's actually said that he suffers from autism, or that he has autism, that he has other issues, but that this was not one of them. So he was very public about saying that he did not suffer from bipolar disorder. And now he's saying, a few days before his new album is coming out, that he is not a Nazi, that he loves the Jewish people. And it makes you wonder, is he being sincere? It all come down to him wanting to sell albums, Hallie.
But here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to say out loud. Kanye isn't apologizing because he suddenly found clarity. He's apologizing because the episode is over. And when the smoke cleared, he finally saw the damage. The real question is, does that make it okay? Welcome back to A Devilish Mind. Watching Kanye step out on this sudden apology tour feels strange as hell. And not because apologies aren't needed, they absolutely are, but because of when they show up and why they show up. Now let's be honest with each other about one of rap's first, if not the first, billionaires who went from that to morphing into hip-hop and fashion's first supervillain. Almost as soon as he became loaded with unlimited funds and the world started acknowledging him as a genius, he decided out of nowhere to go DEFCON 3 on his own career and reputation. The only reason we're hearing all of this "I'm sorry" stuff right now, the only reason Ye is suddenly trying to get back in the good graces of the Jewish community and the black community, who he turned his back on at some point, as far as people are concerned, is because his manic episode has probably come down after all these years. He's finally clear-headed enough to see the wreckage he left behind, and that's what makes this whole situation so frustrating. This man had a level of influence most people will never touch. Influence that could have been used to heal people, to build bridges, to shift culture towards something better. But instead, because of what may be his mental health struggles, he did the opposite. He became gasoline on a fire that was already burning. When Kanye said slavery was a choice, that wasn't just a dumb comment. That was a betrayal. A betrayal to a lot of black people who once looked at him as a voice of truth. And when he started cozying up to Candace Owens, wearing White Lives Matter shirts, letting himself become a prop for far-right politics, that was another knife in the back. But nothing, and I mean nothing, created more damage than his anti-Semitic spiral. Because whether Kanye wants to admit it or not, his words didn't just offend people. His words activated people. And this is where it goes from controversial to actually dangerous.
All the assholes that fucked you over in the music industry, fuck artists over in the music industry, are individuals. They're not Jews. Can you say
they are Jewish?
It doesn't. They're human with opportunities, and they took those opportunities. I don't care if they're Jewish.
Do you feel like I should release that pain and separate it?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're saying I should release that pain and separate it, then I'm telling you, you should release your pain and separate it, and we could get to the list of how you are being with engineering opportunities.
That's 100%. I see what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing. The pain, I'm gonna let it go. Engineering challenges, I get it. One of the problems you highlight is people get fucked over in the music industry and get fucked over in the media. Get fucked over all over the place.
They created, there was a Jewish trainer that brought me to the hospital and put in press that I went to the hospital. I know friends that off of exhaustion, a Jewish doctor, they diagnosed
me.
Jewish because they were, right? Diagnosed me with bipolar disorder and shot me with medication and put me on medication, then put it in the press. And every time, even if I wore the wrong color hat that is not supposed to wear, right? Then they immediately say he's off of his shit, he's off his meds, he's off his rocker, and it's literally used as a scarlet letter control mechanism for the people. Understand, the kids, the colleges, the high schools, what do you think they put me right now? They put me as the prophet.
Kanye wasn't just saying wild stuff online. His words were being used as motivation. We literally had neo-Nazis standing on overpasses, holding banners that said Kanye was right about the Jews. That's not normal. That's not just free speech. That's influence being weaponized. Once people are using your name as a rallying cry for hate, you're not just being edgy anymore. You're shaping reality. And let's not pretend Elon Musk didn't play his own role in all of this. The moment he bought that platform, one of his first moves was reinstating Kanye and Donald Trump. Not because of free speech, but because chaos brings attention, and attention brings money. Meanwhile, Kanye was spiraling so hard that he actually recorded a song called Hail Hitler, a song so toxic that even nightclubs, places that will play literally anything if the beat hits, banned it immediately. And look how that turned out.
All right, tonight, 3 people have been fired from a Miami Beach nightclub after a group of controversial influencers and social media streamers got the place to play an anti-Semitic song. Now we're hearing that club owners want to meet with the Greater Miami Jewish Federation to discuss exactly what happened. CBS News Miami's Anna McAllister is your reporter live in South Beach outside of the club tonight. So Anna, fill us in. What have you learned about this?
Well, Jim, on Saturday night, far-right influencers like Andrew Tate and Nick Fuentes, they were at the club behind me, Vendome, when someone in their group allegedly requested Kanye West's song, Hail Hitler. This is a song that is banned in Germany and all major music platforms in the U.S. And just within the last hour, I've spoken to a representative with the Greater Miami Jewish Federation who says he is setting up a meeting for next week to speak to the owners of Vendome. And one of the big questions, Jim, he's going to ask the owners is how did this group of guys end up in here in the first place?
A group of far-right influencers thought it would be funny to party to that song in a Miami nightclub, and they got banned on the spot. The club even ended up firing multiple employees over the incident. And honestly, I think that moment might have been one of the first times Kanye actually saw himself from the outside. Not as a misunderstood genius, not as a free-thinking artist, but as the guy whose voice became the soundtrack for bigots, for people like Andrew and Tristan Tate. That textbook biscuit-head sneako, whose name fits him perfectly. Myron, who's been working out for years with still no gains. And how could I forget the white nationalist favorite, that 5-foot angry incel who's about 25% Mexican, Nick the Little Prick Fuentes, and every other online cornball chasing clout, through hate. Now Kanye is out here saying he's not a Nazi. We already knew that, and so did every real neo-Nazi. The only issue was that you acted like you didn't know it. And you did it publicly. Kanye literally went to a probably Jewish jeweler and had them make him a diamond-encrusted swastika. He also tried to be a stylish Klansman when he had a black Klan outfit made out of leather, I might add. So to many people, Kanye suddenly saying he didn't mean it feels crazy. Now he's saying everything traces back to that car accident from 25 years ago, that his frontal lobe was damaged from the impact, causing him not to know what he was doing.
Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, is apologizing for his anti-Semitic outbursts. He's taken a full-page ad out in the Wall Street Journal saying he lost touch with reality. Ye says a 2002 car accident impacted his brain and contributed to his struggle with bipolar disorder. In 2022, he praised Hitler in a podcast with conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, and then in 2025 released a song called Hail Hitler. The apology includes Ye saying he's not a Nazi or an anti-Semite and that he loves Jewish people.
Even saying his brain was broken. We all knew that. People tried to tell him that, but of course he wouldn't listen. That's a whole other video for another time. But here's where things get complicated. Because this isn't just about Kanye being offensive. It's about what happens when mental illness meets massive influence. At what point does empathy stop and accountability start? How many times can the same cycle repeat before apologies stop meaning anything at all? Because even if bipolar episodes explain the behavior, do they excuse it? Once you have a platform that large, once your words shape culture, once your influence changes how people think, do you get a free pass every time your mental state dips? And what happens the next time he cycles into another episode? Do we just reset the scoreboard, pretend none of this happened, wait for the next apology tour? At some point, accountability has to exist even when empathy does too. So now I'm asking you, does Kanye's apology actually mean he understands the damage he caused? Or is this just the calm between storms? And more importantly, do you think the world is ready to let him slide again the next time he loses control? Because if words and images truly shape reality, and I believe they do, then maybe the real question is this. How many times can one man break the world? Hit that like button and make sure you're already subscribed to the channel so we can keep diving deep into topics like this that need to be discussed. And I'll catch you in the next one.